YouTube is live, playing the music.
Right now. Four people watching live.
That signal's going out. Sent.
5 minutes left on this pixel plow render.
Alright.
It's so fast. I literally pushed this through just a few minutes ago. And it'll be done.
Welcome to my world.
What? Oh, how fast it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't afford the 10,000 Titans that you've got. I'm not baller yet.
You can't afford not to have that. And so I don't need to be recording just yet?
Nah.
Okay.
Yes, it is, Liam.
Dan Marino.
Barton, I watched some of those. So, like the spots that you post with the, I think it was the Under Armour one that you guys did like super quick and whatever. I think I watched that on Instagram or something, and because of like the tags that you use, I now get advertised Under Armour stuff everywhere I go.
Yep.
Alright, who we got here? Dan Marino, aka any football player name. 531, Liam, Tesla Rock, Grant, Raid Zero. Alright. We are live in the things. Let's see if we're getting a little bit of chat on the stream down in the corner. Somebody chat us something to make sure that we're looking good.
They
there we go,
have been.
Todd. There we go.
There we go.
Barton in house. Cool. Alright. Everything seems to be working well here. Let me just take a listen real quick to the stream. Matt, say something?
Hello.
Barton, say something?
Hello, testing. You hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, testing.
Cool. We sound good. I think we're ready to go. Let me take... okay. Everybody start recording now in your recorder.
All right,
I'm
recording.
rolling.
It's for you,
Hey,
audience,
check,
too.
check.
That's the audience as well.
All right.
Metronome. We got a metronome.
Oh, sorry. There you go. Metronome on. I need to turn off that default. All right. Yeah, so just keep an eye on your levels and your and mainly that everything's recording while we go. If there's an issue, you know, we can stop. If there's any Skype issues, we can pause. And not a big deal.
I apologize if a random child just burst through the door.
That's a
He
holiday,
knows.
right?
Yes, it is.
It's not a holiday for it's not a holiday for motion designers. We don't celebrate presidents, apparently.
Not this one.
Oh boy. All right. We're gonna do our clap. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3 clap, and that'll be our sync. You ready?
Do I need to do this too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be 1, 2, 3 clap. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Cool.
There we go. Ri-Fi in the house. We'll be playing some pool with you tonight. All right. Maybe Matt will come play pool tonight with us.
Wrong.
Hmm. Promise.
Not tonight.
You promised.
Not tonight.
All right.
Dave, do you have a green screen behind you and you're projecting a galaxy?
I do. Yeah.
Can you use the fish tank instead?
Yeah. I could probably find one somewhere. Yeah. Let me. Oh, I should probably send you show notes. You'd probably like that, right? Just saying. Let me put a little
Status:
note in the
Pixel
dingus.
Plow. Render job complete.
Oh yeah, there's them notes, though. All right.
10 minutes to render.
Wait, what is this? Oh, okay.
Show notes. If you want to follow along at home, okay, we've got about 20-something people on. I think we're good to go.
Well, that didn't work.
All
Oh well.
right.
So, real quick question. If I see somebody on your screen and they're saying, "Woot, hey Barton," or "What up, Barton," how do I respond to them?
If you want to talk in the chat, text-wise, you can go to YouTube. If you go to
Oh, those are coming through on YouTube?
on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, and Facebook.
All right.
So it just depends on what the logo is next to it, on what they're actually on. Most of the people watching are on YouTube. So
Yeah.
that's a good place to hang. And also,
Okay.
we'll answer them live as well. You know,
Cool.
we can always cut in and answer live. So,
All
all
right.
right, y'all ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. We're gonna do the usual intro, where Matt will introduce you and you say hello, and then I'll go into all the spiel.
Let's do it.
All right.
Sounds good.
What up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph Brocast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt, and joining us today is our good other Texas friend who also runs one of the best studios in the world, Mr. Barton Damer.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
And Brograph is a supplement to our site, brograph.com, which is a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other MoGraph stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects, plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, or working for the man. And you can email us, brograph@brograph.com. Let us know what you think about the show. Send your ideas for show topics. Send your comments. Send your questions that could be either super hard or super noob. We don't care what it is. We love to talk about it. And it's going to be a good time. We got a great show for you today. Short show. And
Is it a short show?
no, it's never a
Okay.
short show. When is it a
Never
short show? Sometimes.
Sometimes.
But I just had some week wrap
The
up.
show right before NAB when we're crazy busy. That's
Yeah,
the short show.
the short show. Yeah, we're wrapping up projects. Now, couple different things to go over from last week. I had some. I'm sorry the show was late last week. I had some really bad problems with Logic Pro, and then I realized all it was a corrupt file, and all I had to do was start a new file and just drop the files back in after spending
really?
like 4 hours trying to diagnose. Let's see what else we got. Oh, thanks for the music suggestions, by the way. Of course, as soon as I was talking about like what music you listen to while you're working and like the music getting harder and harder with the stuff that I'm listening to, I got a bunch of great suggestions, including from Houdini Mark. I'd already been chewed. And I also wanted to, we were talking about Switch. I don't know if I talked about the fact, because I didn't want to give it away in case she heard, but getting my daughter a Switch for her birthday. She was super, super excited to get it. And, you know, now maybe she will join us on the
The Mario Kart
on
Monday?
the Mario Kart Tuesday.
No, that's way past her bedtime.
So this is a little thing I made for her gifts out of like construction paper and stuff here on the dingus, and she absolutely loved it. But here's what I gotta say: if you're going to set up a Switch account for your kid, don't do the child account. It
What
turned
happened?
into such a pain. I hated it so much. The thing is, when you type in a credit card on any account, you still have to type in a password before you can go to the store. You still have to type in a password before you use it. we accidentally made her this child account, and it was awful because you have to type in your credit card every single time that you want to buy something.
Awful.
And they have to type in the password anytime they want to go online. And since I'm her only friend on Switch, it doesn't really matter. It turned into a huge thing. Then you buy stuff, you can't change the account, so don't do that. Also, I watched the Bohemian Rhapsody movie last night.
Yeah?
Have you seen it?
No. I saw Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse this weekend.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really good.
Super good. Everyone's talking about the Spider-Man, like, the textures and the shaders and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no one is talking about how the fact when something was out of focus, it wasn't actually out of focus. They just like doubled it and did this like chromatic aberration type stuff. It was super cool.
The thing that I did not like about Bohemian Rhapsody, they did a lot of stuff with crowd scenes and things like that,
Yeah.
But it seemed to me that the green screening was just bad. Really, really, really bad. And I don't know why, but for one thing, I feel like they used too much depth of field. And when like depth of field is overdone on green screening because they're doing it just to do it, it's like that's not really what the lens would actually look like. That's what it looked like. And the edges were weird and super soft. And there's something about people that do a certain amount of compositing, like in Nuke, they overdo it. To the point it looks overdone, and everything's got like this kind of like glow fuzz on it, and it's so soft. It feels fake. But I just thought that was interesting.
I'm getting a weird echo from you right now.
You got a super delay on your voice there.
I got a weird error in my recording. Do I still sound echoey?
Yes. Say something.
Hold on. Check.
Yeah.
How about now? Dang it.
How
about
yes.
now?
Yeah,
So
you're
it's
still
echoey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Dang it. How about now?
Yes.
Yep. The buddy men are here too.
Man. Now.
Yes, but it's less.
Why is it doing that? Just all of the sudden. Man. Alright, stand by everybody. I'm going to exit my program and reopen it. It said something.
There, echo's gone.
Yes, but your audio is weird.
You can hear me though, right?
Yes.
Yes. Hold on a second. Here, let me go. Right back.
Check. Do I still have an echo?
Now you're good.
Okay, good. Good.
We lost Matt though.
Yeah. We are good. Come on, Matt. Dun. I don't know. It gave me some weird sync error, and then it was being all funky.
Yeah. We wait for Matt, or should we roll on? What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. Well, I got to get another clap from him real quick.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Another clap. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. All right. And also, Paul, our OG listener, Paul, he sent me a link to something that he's working on. You saw it, right, Matt?
I have not watched it, and I feel really bad about that.
You gotta check it out. He did all sorts of particle stuff, and he did, I think, octane.
I've heard it looks really good.
Yeah, it looks really good. So I'm gonna put a link to that in the show notes. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is Phil, aka Raid Zero. He's been killing it lately. He's got, first of all, he's got this noise thing that he's got on his site where you can drop in a photo and it makes noise out of it. That's Raid Zero with a 0.com/noise. And he also posted something that I really liked this week. And it was just I don't know why it just struck a chord with me, but it was 50 ways to cope with stress. In case you get stressed out. And it's like this. I'll post a link in the show notes to this as well. Maybe this could be the show art. This would be good show art. Get up 15 minutes.
That noise thing is super cool.
Yeah. Get up 15 minutes earlier. Prepare for the morning the night before. Don't rely on your memory. Write things down. Repair things that don't work properly. Make duplicate keys. Say no more often. It just goes on like that. So I'll put that in the show notes so you can check it out. I thought it was kind of nice, especially the part about setting up your next day the night before. Really simple things about like putting out your shoes, putting out your clothes, maybe going to the kitchen and getting your coffee ready to go so you can just turn it on in the morning and the coffee starts going, whatever it is. Those little things can really help. And of course, the last thing with Raid Zero here is his Octane 4 Auto Shaders pack. If you have not seen this, you got to check it out. I'll bring it up here so you can see. He's got a great
We're selling
video.
it on our site as well. So if you want to pick it up through us, you can go to brograph.com/plugins. Is that right?
Yes. And he's got it here, the Octane Auto Shaders. He's made a really cool video to go along with it. And he gave me an advanced copy to kind of check out before he released it. So I was playing with it, and I put it in a little render thing that I'm working on. Even the video he made is super awesome. So make sure you go check that out and purchase it. It's what, $25? Is that right?
$20.
20 bucks. 20 bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Them shaders, though. Yeah, it looks really good. So if you're doing car stuff in Octane, that's super fun. And let's see, next on the agenda here, other plugins. By the way, I wanted to mention that our Octane plugin, the Spotlight for Octane, it works with version 4. I have found out that if you're using the new version in version 3.08, that something is actually broken, and the problem is having to do with 3.08. So if you're still in 3.08 and you're having issues with it, just hit me up. I'll give you a special version that I've made for 3.08 without that little bug in it. We're also doing game night. Don't forget about Switch game night. That's on Tuesday nights.
What are we doing this week?
This week is Super Smash Brothers. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central. Super Smash Brothers.
I bought Mario Party. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out.
But you can only play 4 people at a time.
Yeah.
And you can only play mini games. Like, you can't play the board game.
Yeah.
Which is fine with me.
And our Slack will be open again for registration the beginning of March, so keep an eye out for that. And Barton,
did you shut it down already?
Shut it down?
Wasn't it open for a week?
Oh, it was only open for a week, but that was at the beginning of the year.
Okay. I thought that was last week.
No.
You're making me jealous, Milstead.
I know, dude.
I need a dog now.
No, you don't. You don't want one.
I don't want a dog.
Okay, I have to tell a really embarrassing story about this dog. Okay. So, I wanted a golden doodle, right? So that's what I supposedly got. You know, I'm pretty sure it's a golden doodle. It's a straight-haired golden doodle. So I had to drive all the way out to Fort Worth, which, if you don't know where I'm at, that took me about an hour, 20 minutes to drive there. And so I get there, and I asked the guy, you know, he's like, yeah, I got 2 boys, you know, and a girl. The boys are less expensive. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take a boy, you know. So I pick up one of the boys. You know, he gives me the paperwork. It says boy on it and everything. And so I'm assuming it's a boy for like 10 days. I take it to the vet and I say, how long do I have to wait until I get him neutered? And she goes, well, you got a girl on your hands. All right, well, there we go.
Now wait, are the boys more expensive? Did you get swindled?
Technically, the girls were more expensive, is what she said. But I'm pretty sure I got swindled. Yeah, wow. Which makes me mad. But you know, it's like it's been a long time since I've had a boy dog.
You didn't lift the tail and check.
Well, yeah. So anyway, she turned from, you know, my sidekick. Now she's my princess.
Yeah.
And my sidekick princess.
The name stays though, right?
Pixel. Yeah, that's my dog.
Okay, good.
So.
Called Pixel Dog. That's the name. Barton, you're going to Motion LA next week, and I'm really jealous.
Yes, this Saturday.
Saturday?
Oh, it's this Saturday?
Yeah. I fly
Nice.
in on Friday, go to a couple meetings Friday afternoon, and then Motion LA Saturday.
That's
Man, are you gonna go hang out with some of the dudes that are presenting? Are you gonna say hi to Beeple and Jules and everybody?
Definitely try to, for sure, yeah. Planning on meeting up with several people while I'm out there.
Maybe Ariev. Say hi to Ariev and
Yeah, I spoke to Ariev earlier this week, and Brett Morris, hoping to meet up with him
Up there.
while he's there. Yeah.
you should do a tour of Otoy while you're up there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm jealous. I wish I could see that, but there's too much going on. Can't take trips and just hang out with people all the time. Got to actually do some work, you know. So
Yeah, it seems like a really cool day. A lot of good speakers, and each speaker is only on for like 20 or 30 minutes, so doesn't seem like it's going to be long or dragged out.
yeah, that is kind of difficult sometimes, even when they're good speakers and they're doing a good presentation. Sometimes if you've got like 8 speakers at an hour apiece, you can get a little tired by the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but when it's that short, you kind of feel like, you got to pay attention. You don't want to check your phone because they're only going to be up there for 20, 25 minutes.
right. Let's move on to some Ravcock. What's your flavor?
What's your flavor?
First of all, let's talk about that Octane RTX bench
Yes.
beta that came out.
Yeah, this was like it was causing some serious some ripples across the internet.
Yeah.
Our little area of the internet.
So Barton, have you heard about this beta yet? About the results?
I think I have seen and heard some buzzing about it, but go ahead and fill me in, and you might be able to answer some of the questions I have.
Well, right now it's kind of hard to tell, but I mean, people are getting 3 to 5 times as fast. Now, I ran it on my 2080 just to see what it said, and I realized that my Windows isn't updated enough to even activate RTX at this point.
What you get for not updating any of your stuff.
Well, that's fine because my system is super stable because I haven't
So-
updated.
So is mine, and it's all
Yeah.
updated.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So you said Octane. Is it these results are specific to Octane? It's not just the RTX card.
It's specific to RTX only.
Okay.
To
Yeah.
RTX on
So,
Octane, though, not on Redshift or anything.
Correct.
We don't know yet. But I know Redshift is going to update their engine with RTX as well. I know they're working on it. I don't know any information about when it's coming
Sure,
out.
all of them are. Yeah.
But I'm sure
Okay.
it's going to be faster on Redshift as well, as long as they implement it kind of in the same way. I don't know.
Interesting.
You know.
So I help me follow this. So Octane released an updated version that works specifically with the RTX technology and allows it to render faster.
They're going
It's-
to.
It's just as of right now, it's just the benchmark showing what your
Yeah.
Octane bench score will be
Yeah.
once it's fully implemented into Octane, which is cool.
This will be on a version of 2018, not Octane 4.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this is just kind of a preview of what's coming down the line. So, it could still be the same time that the Redshift version comes out. Who knows?
Yeah. So that's tapping into the RTX technology.
Yeah.
That's cool because we've been kind of racking our brains here trying to figure out like what's the advantage of the RTX card for us.
Yeah.
It
So
seems
all
like
of
the
us,
advantage. Yeah, it seems like currently the only advantage is if you're playing games or need real time things like
But-
that.
Even the gaming stuff, like there's no one who's produced a game. I could be wrong, but
no,
I'm pretty
there
sure
is. There is.
Okay, there's-
It's like Call
what,
of Duty
one?
or one of those. Yeah, they're
there's
starting to
one
roll
person
out.
who's made a game who.
Yeah, we
you
saw
know-
some samples of it too, and it was awful.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of trying to figure out like, well, what does that what does that mean? Like, how is that helpful? But if Octane or Redshift or even Arnold are able to, I guess, put out releases that tap into that technology, even better and faster. That'll be incredible.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my reasoning in what I just got, because when I got this new computer, I was thinking about just throwing another 1080 in there. 1080
Yeah.
Ti, and it's the same. It was basically the Octane bench equivalent of a 2080. And my reasoning behind getting the 2080 was, well, everybody says that there is going to be a speed increase, and I'm glad that I did, because now my 2080 is going to multiply in speed over the next few months.
Yeah, I saw someone's benchmark that they posted, and it was two 2070s, and it was like a 1200 octane bench, which is insane considering my 6 980 Ti's are running a 700.
Phil says Tomb Raider and Battlefield are the ones using that.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jules
is on the chat.
Jules is on the chat from Otoy.
Cool.
Battlefield, he said as well. So I am so looking forward to seeing that. I just need to update my Windows so I can really run the the test.
I don't know, like if those scores are legit and everything, it's like these old cards are going to be useless, in comparison to the speed increases that I can get just by, like, for example, a 2070 card is only $600, to upgrade 6 of those. That's like nothing, $3,600 for like 2 smoking fast machines that are like, 3 to 4 times faster than what I've got now. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So we got that. I saw Sabor's upgrades. Did you see? Sabor was on a few weeks ago, and right after, did we talk about his upgrades on the show?
No, but he posted about $200,000 worth of upgraded video cards.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was like, dude, like, here, I'll pull up this picture here. These Quadro cards, I'm like,
I got a little jealous.
They're what, like $10,000 Quadro cards?
Oh.
That's crazy.
He must have landed a project that required him to have that. That's all I can think.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
He's buying them for gaming.
Yeah. No, he's peeling this. He's peeling the wrapper. Oh, that's so satisfying. He's peeling that wrapper off of there. Oh yeah, so clean.
Oh my god.
Man. I couldn't believe that. I was like, I wonder why you went Quadro though, as opposed to something else. I wonder what the reasoning is behind that. Barton, what do you recommend right now in cards? Like, what's your jam?
For graphics cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we're running off of, we've got, I think, 24 different cards, and about half of them are Titan XPs, and the other half are Titan Voltas. So they are server grade, which means they can render all day, every day, and we're not going to burn through cards. That's my only...
Nice.
That's my only piece of advice. If you're trying to save money and you're going with like a TI version of anything, it's not server grade, so you're gonna burn it out if you're doing a ton of rendering. So ours super stable. We've had the collection that we've been adding to for a couple years now, and have never had to replace any of them.
That's nice.
We recently bought some more Voltas, and we were deciding whether or not we should get the RTX cards or not. And we just couldn't really understand the value it would add to us right now.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, if in the future Redshift or Octane are releasing versions that are going to really capitalize on that and make rendering so much faster, I mean, at that point, we'd jump on it, get the server grade versions of it, and be ready to rock with those. But it's interesting. We are using Deadline for our render. And it's wild.
Do you run into any like issues with Deadline? Like, from what I've found, people are either hit or miss with Deadline. Like, either you're constantly running into issues, or it's pretty smooth.
So here's the deal with both Redshift and Deadline, and I had talked about this a long time ago with you guys, which is with Redshift, and my experience is if you're on a single computer or maybe like one other computer that you're trying to use to render with. So like you're a freelancer and you've got like one or two systems. Redshift is fantastic.
Okay.
If let's just say you're at like a medium level, right? So like maybe you are a freelancer, maybe you're a small studio and you've got like 6 or 8 computers. Redshift became very technically challenging to even deal with because using Team Renderer was awful with Redshift. I mean, it was literally the worst experience ever. Can't even use it. But working on 6, 7 computers with Octane was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing that I totally miss about Octane that Redshift does not have is the ability to throw all of your graphics cards on one still frame and be able to kick out either something for print or even just look development in its final render settings and have literally, I want all 24 of my cards to kick out one frame like as fast as possible. And we can't do that using Deadline or Redshift. There are ways to like split up the render in Deadline and do basically sections of it. But it's a little more complicated than it's worth. So that being said, Octane definitely was easier and more user-friendly when we were at like 5, 6 computers that we were trying to link together. But when we got to a certain size, we had to go with Deadline. And we had to use a company to help us set up Deadline because Deadline is Linux-based. And so they service our Deadline for us and make sure Redshift is constantly running. So the investment in Redshift has been well worth it as far as stability and look development, getting what we need. But there's a lot of factors involved. And so, like I said, if you're at a level where you can do Redshift on, say, 1 or 2 computers, it's probably pretty convenient and an easy switch. If you're trying to do Redshift on, say, 4 or 5 computers, it's probably going to be a huge pain in the butt. And then if you're trying to do it across, you know, say 20-some computers or graphics cards, you know, then if you're able to get a person to essentially program and maintain that for you, that's what we have now. And it's an amazing setup. I mean, you guys have probably noticed just in the last, I would say 12 to 18 months, I feel like the size of the projects and the scenes and the renders that we're doing I mean, it's literally like stuff that we never dreamed we would be able to do. But the technology's gotten so good and the equipment that we've invested in, it's like we're, you know, kids in a candy store just trying to see how big and how far we can push the equipment that we've got.
How are
go ahead.
with all this is something I like chatting with you about, what we've talked a few times as far as like render speeds and stuff with all the cards that you've got and running Deadline and stuff. Like how have you found, have you run into any issues yet where you're like, okay, we just don't have enough power?
No.
I mean, I would assume not.
Don't have the power, Captain.
So this is the reason I'm laughing about that is because it takes time to get the servers set up and going and get everything kind of figured out and get the machine oiled and things like that. So literally for the first 6 months of having a server and Deadline, it was challenging and we wouldn't have been able to do it without the company that supports us to be able to do this. Once we got all of the settings tweaked on it, and they flew out and did like a couple days of testing for us, cool. That happened maybe 6 months ago or so. And what's insane is we aren't sure how to plan our render times right now because mathematically it's not adding up. So we recently did a spot for Under Armour with Jordan Spieth, and some of those scenes, I mean, we're using grass that had wind dynamics, it had subsurface scattering in it, it had alembic files from Houdini thrown in there, like all in the same scene. And just doing look development, it was 20 minutes a frame on a computer that had 2 volts inside of it.
Yeah.
And so we're mathematically, adding that up, and we're like, we're gonna have to start rendering, and we're gonna need like 7 days to render.
Yeah.
Well, what's crazy was once we submitted it through deadline, we ended up rendering a minute and a half of CG. I don't know if you guys have seen the Spieth spot or not, but it's a minute and a half. And there is video footage mixed in there, but for the most part, there's CG throughout the entire spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole thing rendered over a weekend, and we were blown away. Like, we thought we needed 5 to 7 days. We were doing the math on it. It's like somehow, some way, once Deadline got a hold of it and split it up amongst all our cards, it rendered so fast, and we still can't really explain it or figure it out. But that's how it's been on a lot of our projects lately.
At least it's going that direction and not the other direction.
Not the opposite direction.
No, yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, these projects that we're doing, nothing's taking more than 2, maybe 3 days to render, if that.
That's awesome.
Which one is the Spieth spot?
So are you on our website currently?
Well, I'm on your Is it on your Instagram?
It is, yeah. If you're on let's see, we've posted it a few times, and we've posted it in different ways. We had like a 1:30 version. We had a cut down version that was 30 seconds.
Is this the New Balance one, or is this a different one?
No, Jordan Spieth. He's a professional golfer from Texas here.
Okay.
Under Armour athlete. So if you were to...
I don't see that anywhere. You can
Are you on Already Been Chewed?
On the website?
Or on the Instagram feed?
I am on the Instagram feed, yeah.
Okay.
I just see a bunch of New Balance. I didn't know if he was wearing New Balance or...
No, if you're on our profile on Instagram, scroll down 1, 2, 3. The fourth photo down has like a close-up of a red cleat on the bottom of the shoe.
I just put in the dingus.
Oh, okay, good. That helped. There we go.
I think that's right. Jordan Spieth 3, is that it?
Yeah, but like I said, we posted it several times. If you wanted to go like to the website as well.
There we go.
Yeah, that one's on the website.
Is this it right here?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. There we go. So this one was what engine?
Redshift.
This is Redshift, and
yeah,
they give you scans of these shoes, or do you actually build them?
It depends on the project. Sometimes we're modeling them. Other times we're receiving CAD files, retopoing them.
Okay.
And sometimes they are providing us with models that have really low res textures for VR stuff that they're doing. Okay. And then we have to like basically scan and recreate all of the textures.
Okay.
So this is
in this specific instance, what did they provide?
Yeah, they provided us with a model that had to be partially retopoed, and then all of the textures were done from scratch.
Cool. Bad.
So this is the one that took the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, we rendered this and New Balance in one weekend.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane. Like we were tripping when we came in Monday because
it was done.
Yeah, we thought that both were going to take absolutely forever.
I had a question too on the cards. Didn't you tell me something about like the noise level on the cards and the Voltas is significantly lower?
Oh yeah, Voltas are absolutely incredible. They don't overheat literally ever.
You were saying you can just stack them and stack them, right?
Yeah, you can definitely get them tighter into a box. You can render for days, and they are not regulating themselves. They're just so reliable.
Wow.
And so good and quiet. They're completely quiet. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting about the difference between Voltas and Titan XPs, we're finding out that there is no way to know what the best graphics card is to use. And the reason I say that is because we will send some scenes to render, and we have a render farm that has Titan XPs in it. It's got 8. We've got a rack that has 8 Titan XPs. And then we have some of our other computers that are stacked with Voltas. And so those aren't in a rack. Those are in actual workstations. And depending on the scene and the variables within the scene, sometimes the Voltas will literally be 3 times faster than a Titan XP. And then other scenes, the Titan XPs will be way faster than the Voltas.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so Thomas was explaining to me it could be like a RAM issue, could be a CPU issue, but it is very interesting because it's hard to say like, yeah, get Voltas and use it for everything, because we're actually super pumped that we have different cards, because we get surprised on certain projects. And we're like really glad that we have XPs that are cranking on it because the Voltas are going slower. Or vice versa. And so I feel like with the new RTX cards, once we start investing in those, it might be the same situation where it's like, okay, now we have 3 different cards cranking away at different types of scenes, and some of them are going to do better than others depending on the scene. But unfortunately, there's no real way of like going at it, knowing that, okay, I need this scene to work well on a Volta instead of a Titan XP.
Right.
There's some other questions here I wanted to roll back in the chat real quick. One of them, is there a special prefix on a server grade card? Or is it just, is this, like the Volta, for example, are there different kinds? Is there a different kind that's for the server, or are they all the same?
Volta is server grade. It
just is the server grade. Okay. Yeah,
so like 1080 Ti, I believe the Ti is what differentiates it and keeps it from being server grade. So they're cheaper for a reason. Right. It's great to get like a 1080 Ti or any of those types of cards because they're cheaper, but in the long run, they have the potential to burn out if you're using them a ton like we are.
Yeah.
Then we got Otoy says that the high scores are for some scenes like the one in the benchmark, but most scenes are around half that speed, 1.25 times or 1.5 times for path tracing at the moment. With more work, can get most scenes to high speed. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Let's see, what else? Hello from Tanzania, Africa.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm actually going to Africa in March.
Oh, yeah?
Nice. For a shoot or for fun?
No, I'm doing 3 speaking engagements in Africa.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I will be speaking to a group of professionals, and so doing some Cinema 4D demonstrating. I will also be talking about how to land international business using the internet. And then I'll be speaking to a group of churches and talking to them about how they can use media. And then I'll also be speaking to a group of students and spreading the Cinema 4D gospel there.
Nice.
Mark Sinozia says, ABC, always be killing it. And we also got hello from Nigeria. Cool. And Swaroop says, ABC is lit.
Nice.
All right. One thing I wanted to say is I've been helping some friends with some hardware suggestions as well as our hardware channel. One of my friends, I didn't get a chance to really talk to him. I was trying to tell him what to get, and I'm like, man, we really need to have like a phone call, kind of a sit down, and I'll tell you what you need to do on this build so that you can do GPU rendering and stuff. I'm like, make sure you get an NVIDIA card. And I never really heard back from him. And then like a month or two later, I got like this photo from him. He's like, oh yeah, render goodness. And he sent me this build, and it had a Radeon card in it. And I was like, oh no, dude, what are you doing? So like I actually convinced him to go take the Radeon card back and go NVIDIA. And then my friend Jeremy, he runs a video production company here in Dallas as well. Helped him with a new build, because he wanted to get on the PC bandwagon like everybody else is doing. So he took kind of one of our builds and some advice from the Slack channel, and he built himself. He hasn't done the wiring or the glass or anything yet, but he sent me where he's at so far. He got some cool looking rainbow fans there.
Nice.
But, he threw 2080 in it. Kind of built this together the other day, and then he threw another 2080 in it with no problem there. Super fast. It's man, just two 2080s. It's super fast. And what else? Oh, Ri-Fi. He built his. He posted this in the hardware channel.
Yeah, lots of builds this week.
The other day. Oh yeah, he posted these. I'm going to be hanging out with him tonight. We'll be talking about that, and he posted his setup here. Pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Pretty cool. He's got his whole new setup going.
I upgraded my CPU this past week. I got one off of eBay. Like it was, I was running a 6-core single-threaded 1.6 gigahertz. It was the one that came with the computer whenever I bought it off the guy off of the Facebook or whatever. And I finally got around to updating. I was able to find a 3.3 gigahertz 6-core with multi-threading for only like $175, you know. But that jumped up. It jumped up my my Cinebench score from like 56, and then I was also able to overclock it. I got it up to like 175.
That's nice.
And that's just for the single thread. You know, the hyper threading and stuff. It's not as fast. So that is now faster than my my Threadripper. But I haven't overclocked my Threadripper. You know, it's pretty cool.
Doing some Sims pretty soon then.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be able to at least render After Effects, you know, faster.
About 1% faster.
If at all.
Right. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, probably not.
Dude, I'm just waiting for Cavalry. Cavalry is going to be amazing. It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
All the stuff that I've seen coming from them, it's like After Effects should have done that a long time ago. You know, the same effectors stuff, and it just looks so good. And the just this past week or something, they showed that they've got the ability to do like almost like takes, you know, in Cinema 4D, but only through Cavalry. So you can like actually create multiple versions of the exact same thing and render them out without having to create multiple compositions.
No, is it Cavalry or Calvary?
I don't know. I'm calling it Cavalry.
Ryan Summers, I think, has some stuff to say about it. He will be on the show next week, by the way. We had a little schedule change. Ryan Summers will be on next week, and he told me he wanted to talk about that. So maybe he's got some experience with it, or something. Maybe he's been on the beta. I don't know.
No, I'm excited for it.
Barton, you're the type of person who is right tool for the job. You know. No specific loyalty to render engine or app or whatever. So so you should check this out because it might be a good alternative to After Effects.
Oh yeah. We've looked at it, but you know, just haven't made any real decisions yet. We've also been looking at Fusion for compositing and things like that. But...
Yeah.
That was going to be my question. Is I know you don't really have to do that much compositing. So are you just using After Effects right now at the moment?
Yeah. We use After Effects basically just for assembling things. But for the most part, we are capturing our looks in the render itself and inside of the camera itself.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. So from the move over from Octane to Redshift, because Octane, you know, I know Ariev is a big proponent of getting everything just looking like that in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And did you guys, I know you guys had started doing multipass, right? And then compositing it and doing, because you had mentioned with Redshift, you were doing a lot of the same stuff that you had to do back with physical, you know? What changed in order to get it back to where we're entirely working in camera?
Yeah, so originally when we got onto PCs in general, we started with Octane, and that was probably 3 years ago at this point. And so very quickly it became apparent that like we can get the look in camera. And so one of the very first spots that we did using Octane was a brand black shoe that we did. Mm-hmm. And that one we realized like, okay, we don't need any passes, which is fantastic because that saves hard drive space.
Right.
And when we started kicking out specular passes, shadow passes, It felt very much dated, like all the tricks that you used over composite physical renderers to just make them look cool, which at that time, 5 years ago, that was the right thing to do, because it wasn't necessarily photorealistic. It was just stylized to look kind of cool with all those passes. But if we wanted like crystal clear, very nice photorealistic results, it was just straight in camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it started feeling over processed, almost like a DC movie instead of a Marvel movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Or Bohemian Rhapsody.
yeah. So we're getting all of our looks directly in camera.
So what was the process like? What at what points were you like, okay, we need to change our workflow in order to get it more like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, was there one specific workflow thing that you did in order to be like, okay, now we're doing it all in camera?
Was there something you were waiting for, or
I don't know.
It was just, it was the switch from physical renderer to Octane, years ago.
Yeah.
And so just having the accessibility of something to feel so photorealistic, it just felt like we were dumbing down our renders by adding all these separate passes to it.
and
Yeah,
now you've
what
got
about
the
from-
post effects in Redshift. So now
What about
it's-
from Octane to Redshift? You know, because I know
Yes.
when you first started in Redshift, you were doing a lot of the same things you did in physical. What was it that actually changed working in Redshift to where you're like, okay, we can do this all in camera now?
Yeah, I think when we first started in Redshift, and there is still a little bit of a battle where sometimes we can do look development, and I feel like it's almost a little bit cartoony or physical render-ish looking, and I think that's interesting.
It's just Houdini Mark messing with you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what changed? I think maybe just getting to know it a little bit better. It's definitely not beauty in a box. Octane, I think you can literally throw 3 lights in a scene and get something that looks incredibly gorgeous.
Yeah.
Whereas Redshift, I think to a certain degree, I mean, I say this based off of people's strengths, but I do think you have to be maybe a little bit more of an artist to get a great look out of Redshift.
Oh, for sure.
And so, so I fell in love with Redshift after playing with it for a little while. At first, it was kind of like, well, Octane's easier. I can just get something to look amazing like instantly. But then I think the control and the ability to manipulate and light things the way I want them to be, exactly the way I want them to be.
Lights have completely changed my life. Like working in Redshift, it's like, okay, I'm sold. Yeah.
Now the post effects in Octane are awesome, and they haven't been in the full build of Redshift until like today or yesterday.
Yeah, it was 3 days ago they released a new version. It's officially like the full version with post effects, which is pretty nice.
And I know you're not working in the beta version because you just stay in the production version, and it's kind of an ordeal to upgrade and everything. You want everything to be on the same page, especially with as many cards and machines as you have. What have you been doing up until now to do those kind of post effects? Has it been all After Effects?
I mean, if we need to, After Effects, but honestly, we haven't done very many post effects. I can think of a spot that we did for Opkicks where it's like an astronaut that grabbed a tiny little camera and then started looking into the camera. That one, I know we used Fusion to get some bloom on that spot. But like if you look at the New Balance spot or the Jordan Spieth spot or like the new Curry 6 campaign that we put together, there's no effects on it. It's just all in camera.
So that actually brings us into our topics, because we wanted to talk about the New Balance spot. Is that, you had Fields listed in the notes. Did you use Fields for that one?
Yes, that was Fields with the exception of the weave. Obviously, the weave was not Fields. That was Houdini, and specifically Houdini Mark.
Okay.
Can you bring that up, Dave?
Yes, I will bring that up. Okay, so here's my question. I wanted to talk to you about threads and how you're going about doing threads.
Oh, that's a fancher question. That's not always a question.
Is that something that is a Houdini thing then? And
Yeah,
and not
yeah.
okay. So
But I do know that the threading is actually being done in Houdini, but then we're bringing it into Cinema 4D as splines and then using hair on the splines.
gotcha.
Oh,
Okay,
cool.
that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just great. I love this
Oh,
part
it's
here at the bottom
gorgeous.
of the shoe. Yeah.
Who did
Oh.
the background design as well? Like, because that to me was one of the. I mean, yeah, you got gorgeous stuff, but like the design aspect of it with, in its environment was just beautiful.
Cool. Yeah, they provided an Illustrator file with the tech illustrations in there. And so then we went in and created a 3D environment and put it on like a wrinkled paper.
Cool.
I love
Yeah, it looks really good.
this part coming up here. I think it's right here. It's the threads come together, but also they have that kind of painted over look on them.
Yeah. Yeah, the threads were Houdini, and then like that is Fields right there. There is a behind the scenes that shows some really cool camera angles of it. See the clay render of the New Balance logos on our feed. Scroll down.
Yeah. Let's see.
Keep going. Right there.
here? Yeah.
Yeah. If you play that one, you'll see a variety of camera angles on some of that work.
Can I mute it? I don't know if I can mute it. That's the only problem. Let me see. Hold on. See if I can mute site. There we go.
Cool.
So this is like a breakdown. I'll post all these in the show notes as well.
It's a breakdown, but it's also just different perspectives on the work that was done. So like all of that is Fields. That's Houdini.
Mm-hmm.
Brought into cinema splines, and then the tread was Fields as well.
Who's doing your breakdown videos?
It just depends.
Yeah.
This particular one was Lance put this together.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that looks really good.
Yeah, dude.
Cool.
Super cool.
And I'll
So,
be going over how Fields were used at NAB
Oh,
on
Oh,
nice.
this
snap.
on this project.
Nice. Oh, man. NAB is going to be great. Have they announced the lineup yet?
I don't think they have.
No? I'm excited about the lineup. But hopefully they'll release that pretty soon. Let's see. New Balance. We talked about the Steph... No, did we talk about Steph Curry yet? Did we show that yet?
Not really. We mentioned it, but
Now, when was that? Was that recent? Is that further
yeah,
down?
we actually started on it back in September and
Wow.
are still working on it. So the nice thing is they hit us up to do originally just like a print piece for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I was looking at what they needed, it made sense to do an animated version of it first, because otherwise it would have been pretty fast process to just add like the paint splattering up from the number 6.
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up doing a bunch of explorations for them of just the animation of the foot like tapping the 6 and the splash coming up, and just giving them a bunch of different samples of different viscosities and things like that of the paint. And then from there, yeah, you can see a little bit of background there of different types of paint and things that were done. And so we had like these animation explorations that we went through, and then we were able to create like the print piece from the animations. And then from there, we did the animations for everything from in-store displays to social media, things like that. And then we also did a full 30-second spot. And that 30-second spot has been on everything from ESPN to TNT to inside of the 2K basketball video game as well.
Oh,
So
man,
that
I
was
love
pretty
the yellow.
Beautiful,
inner paint.
dude. Yeah.
That's really cool. Now, how do you
And
decide
is
how
that-
much time you spend on some of the R&D for some of this?
Depends on their budget.
Okay,
Is-
here's another question. How did you upsell them from just a still image to like full on video and stuff?
Yeah, so I basically explained to them that we want the animations to match the print. And so we really should explore how this splash could look and should look, because it'd be real fast and simple for us to just take a paint splatter off of Shutterstock
Right.
and like Photoshop it into the 6. But if it matches nothing else and it can't be used for digital, it's not going to be super useful. So that turned into an entire process with them of figuring out like, okay, what are the options for this splash? Should it splash up? Should it splash down and destroy the 6? Like what could it look like? What should it look like? And then from there, what are some of the other things that we could do with it beyond that? And so we began pitching them ideas for full spots to other types of animations for it. And then the full spot, did you guys want to pull that up and play it back?
Oh, I guess I missed that one. I'll try and find that here, yeah.
Yeah, you want to do it on our website or on...
Here you go, Dave. I got it.
Okay.
In the dingus.
Send it to me in the dingus.
If you look at it on our website, you'll also be able to see pictures of how it was used in store.
Yeah, it looks
So
gorgeous in the store.
storefronts. If you're in Texas, which you guys are, you can actually go into North Park Mall or Stonebriar Mall right now, and you'll see it in store.
Rad.
Yeah. So.
And now it was all the fluid sims and stuff. Was that all done Houdini?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep.
And did you go shoot all the live stuff as well?
No, they provided that for us. I believe
okay.
Under Armour's internal team shot it.
So you didn't
Cool.
get to go shoot some hoops with them while you were...
Not on this one. I got to hit some golf balls with Jordan Spieth, and I'm going on a new shoot to direct Leonard Fournette for a
Nice.
football
Cool.
shoot. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now, you
Looks
do have
good,
these
man.
other stills on here. Again, this will all be in the show notes. You can check this out. But I see here you've got shots of some of the local campaigns in the mall.
Yes.
Now, did they come to you with the idea, or did you pitch the idea to them?
Dang it, Mark.
The idea of the spot?
Yeah, like they came to you and said, "We want the splash," right? And then
Yes.
you guys had to figure out how to make it work.
Yes. Yeah, on this particular spot, it was them coming to us with a basically like script to follow. Based off of the explorations that we had been doing.
Okay.
So
You had already done some. Were you pitching them on the idea of different things, and then they're like, "Okay, we like this one thing. Here's how we want you to implement it."
Yes. Yep.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So
We have one that we'll post to Instagram hopefully in the next couple of weeks. The exploration was pretty sick. I was super stoked on the way it turned out. But essentially, we had a photorealistic basketball court, and then of course photoreal, shoe modeled. And the shoe came down, splashed on the basketball court, and the wood grain, including the 3-point line, splashed up, and it followed. Made a puddle out of the basketball court.
That's awesome.
So we were hoping to do like a whole spot where like the shoes ran down the basketball court and we're
Gotcha.
splashing every single time.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get some breathing room, we'll go back in and like finish that one up, at least like the sample animation of it, because it was turning out pretty sweet.
Cool.
So at what point do you decide, like, do you say, okay, I want to go after this? Because you were just basically creating spec work to try and sell them on it, right?
It's
Does
a
it
tough
fall back
thing.
into R&D kind of?
No, yeah, it's a tough thing, right? So
Yeah.
I think I've said this before with you guys, maybe not, but we'll just say it again. So spec work all comes down to what do you want to do to win a project, and what is the client's expectation in order for you to win a project, right? Mm-hmm. So for instance, if a client comes to us, they see that we do watches, shoes, and boats.
Right.
And they wonder if we can do something for their watch brand.
Right.
Like, no, I'm not doing spec work for you. Are you kidding me? Like, the proof is in the pudding. However, we are currently involved in a project, and the client did not approach us saying, hey, we need you to do free work in order to land the job.
Right.
It's me looking at our portfolio and saying, in order to win this job, it is a little bit out of our wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. So I want us to create like a 10-second animation as proof of concept to help us win the project. Mm-hmm. And so it's all in the way the client approaches it as to our reaction to it, right? Mm-hmm. And it's especially that way when you have a larger team. So for instance, when I was by myself as a freelancer, I had zero time to do anything free for anyone, right, to land any kind of a project. It's like, no, I'm booked, I'm slammed. You either book me or you don't book me.
Right. Right.
But when you've got 9 people, you may if they've got some downtime, you may as well create a little sample animation that's going to go help you land a 6-figure budget.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not going to go do that to land a $5,000 project. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But if I can have our team collaborate on something for a day or two, and they might win a 6-figure project because we did that while we were waiting for water to simulate for 20 hours straight, you know, like, then it just makes perfect sense. Like, why not? But it's all in the way a client's expectations are that sets the tone for what I'm willing to do or not do. If I feel like the client is dangling a carrot in front of me and is like, well, if you don't show us that you can animate shoes, like, really? You know?
Yeah.
Like not a chance. We're not doing anything. Like, we can. So it's almost offensive if the client expects it, and then if the client doesn't expect it, I feel like it's a smart move to help seal the deal.
Yeah.
So do you ever, like, even before a client comes to you, do you ever create stuff with that client in mind and then say, all right, I'm going to go try and sell this, you know?
Always. Well, what's the phrase? Don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't design for the job you have, design for the job you want.
Right. Yes.
So it's constantly, we're going to do this. Oh, wow, this client cut it. Who cares? We're going to go show it to our client list anyway and say, check out this new technique we developed.
Yeah.
So it's not too big of a deal. Or, you know, it's like, hey, check out what we did for New Balance over here. You know what I mean? And so we're just constantly behind the scenes showing our contacts and our clients what we're capable of. And it's all about, you have to be able to show that you have new capabilities. So it's not about doing free work. It's like, you know, I have these contacts, whether they're at Pepsi or Under Armour or, you know, G-Shock or Nike or whatever. I may as well show them, check out this new technique. We've got new equipment, we've got new people, and it's a new year. Let's do something together.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to receive a creative brief from one of those brands, do it for free in hopes to land the job. That's
right.
That's spec work. Like,
yeah.
That's not what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'll never do a job, and if you like it, pay me for it. Like, that's not happening.
Right.
Oh yeah. Okay, so those particular jobs, they kind of sell themselves in a way, or sell them to similar clients in a way. because you've got the watches and the shoes and things like that. But clients that are in a different area, how are you going about finding those new clients that may be in a different field completely?
Yeah, I mean, we're working in a ton of different industries, everything from Tiffany and Co., which is obviously luxury jewelry brands,
Yeah.
to, even like the Star Wars side of things and being able to work with DC and Marvel. And even recently, we did a spot with Disney.
Yeah.
So that was awesome too. And now that was for Nixon watches. But that was like a great example of where Nixon came to us and basically said, hey, we're licensing a Mickey Mouse watch. We need to promote it. What do you guys want to do? And let me connect you to Disney's team to get this thing approved. And so
it also gave you the big limitation of we can't actually show Mickey Mouse's head.
Yeah.
How do you work around that? Yeah.
That was super fun. So that's where we pitched the idea of we'll do a POV since we can't show Mickey.
Yeah.
And we'll show his shadow on the wall, and we'll see if we can make Disney a little bit uncomfortable by suggesting that. That's actually like a behind the scenes of it.
I like that he didn't even have a head. That's hilarious.
For that view, yeah. But yeah, no, that was fun because we knew it was challenging, and so we developed that concept. And at least the person we were dealing with at Disney said that none of our licensed products that had these restrictions on it had ever been pitched that concept before to do a POV. And so we were pretty stoked that we kind of pushed the limits of what was allowed or not allowed when creating that spot.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is really great. That's a great way. It's, again, just like when doing, when people talk about doing daily renders and things like that, putting limitations on yourself actually helps you so much. That's a great looking spot. Yeah.
It's a beautiful spot, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, there were all kinds of weird stipulations. Like at the end, the transition's a little bit hokey going into the watch, and it was because Disney thought that it was too seamless the way we had done it originally. And the watch could in no way be directly connected to Mickey Mouse. And so, we ended up having to do a transition that basically separated the watch from the spot because it felt too closely tied.
Is there some sort of like crazy brand standards guide for that kind of thing? I mean, it's got to be it's got to be a novel for all of those.
I'm not sure. I didn't look at it.
That's funny.
Just hope for the best. Yeah.
Thanks for this. How about this idea?
Right.
That's funny.
Tell me if it fits within that book you just sent over.
But you've got salespeople working for you too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Donnie's been with me for about 4 years or so. And then we recently brought on another person as well named Tom Parsons.
And we were going to...
How was it? At what point have you always had a salesperson?
No, I was on my own, for the first 3 years.
Yeah.
And then Donnie actually approached me during one of the busiest times of my entire career. I was in the middle of working on the Nike campaign for the Hyperdunk 2014, which that artwork then turned into 7 different shoes. And so I was in the process of I was literally working back then 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and entertaining other clients and getting that work done as well. Not to mention managing employee and personality issues at the same time as trying to hit those deadlines for Nike.
And how many employees did you have at the time?
It was just 3 of us at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And so Donnie approached me about doing sales, and I was kind of like, I work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. I don't need sales. But inside and my gut there, I just knew that there was a reason why he was approaching me to do sales, and I needed to entertain it. And it worked out well because later we lost one of our larger clients. And so it was perfect timing to bring Donnie on, and then he helped to backfill some of that work the coming year. And so he was actually one of the ones that helped us to land the Nixon Star Wars work. And so that was, you know, I don't know, maybe like 6 months after he came on board.
Rad.
Now, employee-wise,
you guys saw my kid in the background.
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh.
My kid's just running around in the background. Oh, that's great.
So, as far as employees, how many do you have now?
9.
9. So,
yeah.
As far as employees go, you know, it's something that we don't really deal with. We deal with contractors, and that's kind of an easy thing to do. You know, it's a lot harder when you're dealing with actual employment. So, I guess, tell us some of the ins and outs, ups and downs of that once you get to that point where you're hiring. We don't talk about the hiring process much on the show. The process of finding people and the stress of knowing that you're employing people and all of that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, there's a lot to unpack there. I will say this. I've always been inspired by Norman Rockwell. Do you know the story of Norman Rockwell or anything about him?
I don't think I know
paintings.
about that. Yeah, I just know about the paintings.
Okay, so Norman Rockwell was a famous painter. He did the Saturday Evening Post magazine, old school days, if you're not familiar with him. But it's commercial art, right? So he had to crank these paintings out, and he had to do them on a regular basis. And
they were huge too. Like they were huge, and they'd get scaled down to like just the size of a magazine.
Yeah, totally. So originally, as a freelancer, I only wanted to grow if I felt like I was going to miss out on opportunities that I couldn't fulfill by myself. And so that was happening. I mean, it's part of the reason I went into business for myself anyways. I was freelancing nights and weekends. I had kind of whittled things down to a point where I could be super selective in what I was working on nights and weekends. And then, just creating a demand for the work allowed me to go full time. Well, then once I was full time, I started realizing, okay, the demand is here. And in order to fulfill the demand, I'm going to try out a project manager and see if I can basically start the projects, get the creative going. And then once the creative's been approved, then I could start working with freelancers to kind of finalize and finish off the projects. And then I would have a project manager in place that could help me do that so that I'm on to the next one. And so that's how it was when there was just 2 of us out of my house is I'm starting it, we get the approvals, and then the project manager helps to finish the project with the freelancers that we are using to finish it until eventually I could afford to bring on another person. And we also started looking at, how much work are we turning down because it's just me, and is that work that we even care about? Did we have to turn down some dream gigs because it was just me? And the answer was yes. And so we were logging those things and looking at how much money was being left on the table, and good projects, not just like crappy projects that would have been money makers, but they were like, I wish I could have done these projects,
For the real projects.
Yeah, they were great projects, and we were having to turn them down. And so that allowed me to want to bring on and find people who could do things that I couldn't do, so that we could work together. And I was asking myself at that time, okay, this is cool. I've accomplished certain things as a freelancer, but what could I accomplish if I were leading a team of people? And so that was kind of the question at hand. And so that's when I started hiring more people. And so now we've got an incredible team. We've got our lead animator is Brian Talkish, super talented dude. He's been with me for 4 years now, I think. Yeah, a little over 4 years. And then we've got Aaron Smock, who's our head of production. He's also a senior motion graphics artist himself. But he loves spreadsheets, so he can, so he's super helpful in the sense that he can manage the production, but he himself is a senior motion designer, so he knows what it takes to get it done, how long it should do.
Which is, I think, very important in that position.
Yeah.
It's very helpful to all the employees that, he's overseeing and stuff.
And the employees like that. We had project managers that weren't artists and had never done it, and it's just, we all know it's it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And so it's fantastic because when Aaron and I are setting up a schedule, we know what's involved. I'm not just some greedy businessman that started a motion graphics studio.
Right.
It's if you can't pull this off, there's a chance I'm going to have to stay this weekend and pull it off by myself. So I'm not going to ask you to do something that I don't think I'm going to, I'm not going to say, hey, we need this done in 3 days and then give myself 3 weeks to do it. You know what I mean? So we're working basically as a group of artists together to keep things organized. And then we also have Thomas, and Thomas is our technical director. He's also our lead modeler, so he's modeling all of our products for us. He is building our computers, swapping out GPUs for us, things like that.
Yeah.
He is jumping into our scenes and building our scenes, and backgrounds, buildings, whatever we need created in the backgrounds he's working on. It doesn't mean that there aren't others of us that can't model. It just means that he's definitely the more focused modeler. He uses ZBrush, he uses 3D Coat. He uses a ton of different software. The guy knows pretty much every software available. And then we also have Lance, who's one of our motion designers, just an all-around generalist. And then we have Mark Fancher, who is our main Houdini guy. Thomas also knows a little bit of Houdini as well, but Fancher is our primary Houdini artist. And the good news is he also knows Cinema 4D and After Effects. So I'm not paying a guy to sit around until I need explosions created.
Right.
So he can help out.
Just throwing explosions on every project, right?
Water, fire, explosions,
smoke,
anything we've done in the last 18 months has one of those three things. For good reason.
That's funny.
And in that hiring process, have you had some ups and downs in trying to find the people that are right? And some of these people, like Mark, for example, he moved down from another state. You got to be fairly certain that this is going to work before you make that kind of commitment.
Yeah, real quick, just so I don't leave anybody out. I've got Donnie, who does sales, Tom Parsons, who's just joined us 2 weeks ago. And then Sandra, my wife, does all of our finances. She works with, making sure everything from taxes to paychecks to
the most important job in the whole place.
So she works with us as well. So you were asking about the stress of adding somebody on. We're again, the growth opportunities for ABC are inspired by adding creative to our team. So you guys probably recall, I think it was 2 years ago at NAB, I said in one of the interviews with you that I wanted to get into Houdini and I wanted to add Houdini into what ABC can offer. And it was partly inspired by some of the really cool work, Man vs. Machine had been putting out, and just seeing that there were some limitations of Cinema 4D, at least for sure in my knowledge, and some things that creatively I wanted us to be able to pull off as a team. And so that began kind of the quest for Houdini. And that was everything from us jumping into Houdini ourselves and giving up to then starting the search for a Houdini artist. And so again, the growth there and the inspiration and the motivation behind the growth was not like, hey, I just landed this $20 million contract. I need to go find 10 suckers that'll spin cell phones for me for the next 2 years because I just landed this big problem. It's more like, no, like creatively, here's what we can do and here's what we should be doing. And there's enough of a demand for our work that if we continue to add to the capabilities, we've got the client roster that we can kind of go back to them each year and be like, look, we're adding people, we're adding power, and we're adding capabilities, and continue to keep that ball rolling. So the long way around to what you originally asked is, you can't have growth without having a big year the year before. Mm-hmm. And so I'm constantly investing back into the company, whether that is through the power that we're investing in, computers, servers, render farms, companies to support the server, things like that, making those types of investments, or the people, right? So investing in people, whether it's bringing new people on, whether it's giving raises to the people that have helped grow the company over the years with the quality of work that they're doing. So if we're having great years, for me, I'm literally like banking that next person's salary, knowing that, okay, I can bring that person on, and if things were to get tight, I'm committed to that person for sure, mm-hmm. a minimum of a year, no matter what happens. Like, mm-hmm. I've got that money there. I'm not going to move them here and then lay them off 3 months later, at least God willing. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's big companies that don't even make that commitment. You can move across the country to work for Spectrum, get laid off 3 months, or get laid off the week that you move there. I mean, it happens all the time. But
that happened to a cousin of mine. She just moved from Nevada all the way to Houston, got laid off in GE like 2 weeks later.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, I had a friend that moved for a motion graphics job at a very large studio. It was a studio that had like 300 people. And mm-hmm. the day he started, they laid off 150 people. Jeez. And he literally like went to his boss and was like, did I just make the wrong decision to move here? And apparently they were committed to his position, but not the 150 that they laid off. So when I am making that decision, I'm not trying to mess around with anybody, and especially not anyone's families. And so it's there. It's been saved for. It's been planned for. And we would have to have a really dry 12 months after that person comes on board. And that's kind of how we plan for it. To me, that's actually a whole lot less stressful, because it's back to like show and prove. Like, I don't go out and hire 3 people in hopes that we can then like boost our business. It's like, no, the year before we killed it, and if we added on a new person with a new capability, that would help the load management, and that would help us bring on new creative this year, like with a new skill set, whether it's a new person that can take modeling to another level, like when we brought Thomas on, a new person that can take animation to another level, like when I brought Brian on, a new person that can take like our Houdini work to another level, like when I brought Fancher on. You know what I mean?
And Mark, you met Mark, I think did you meet Mark for the first time up at Half Res?
Half Res.
Right? Half Res, yeah.
Here's the epic pic from our pizza gathering at Illuminati's.
Yeah. So when I go to a lot of these events, like, I'm definitely looking to network with people and hopes to convince them to come get a mansion in Texas.
Mansion in Texas is correct.
Yeah. Get them California people out of there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes time too. You know, there's people that I've been talking to for several years, and we're a small studio, so I can't just add people on at will.
Right.
But you know, I've been talking to people in 2, 3 years. Once the position opens up, you know, if that person's ready, that job offer will be theirs.
Yeah.
What's the big plan? What's the big scheme?
Yeah.
Like, where do you want to go from here?
I mean, honestly, we're just a group of artists, and we're trying to push ourselves to do bigger and better productions. And thankfully, the software is allowing us to do that. You know, like I feel like R20 was just a big breakthrough year for Cinema 4D.
Yeah.
You know, some of the field stuff is absolutely incredible, and what you can do with it. And so we're definitely, you know, solutions based, trying to help our clients launch products and build their businesses. But at the same time, you know, we're just excited about like, okay, what can we do together as a team that we haven't done before? Let's keep pushing ourselves. Let's keep going. You know what I mean? And so the types of projects, the types of rendering, the types of scenes that we're doing. If you had asked me 3 years ago what ABC was going to be now, I couldn't have told you that. Right?
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't have been on my mind. It wouldn't have been part of my vision. And so in the future, I don't know if we're going to be doing some insane AR stuff or some VR stuff. The VR stuff really hasn't like popped off for us. We've done it, and it was just kind of whatever. I could definitely see AR being something that we're going to have to do at some point, but it's also incredibly expensive to be a pioneer in that space. So I imagine, you know, eventually it's going to be pretty easy to produce AR content.
Yeah.
And we want our clients to come to us for the creative solutions, regardless of what the medium is. You know what I mean? So I've outlived everything from print to flash websites to holograms to AR when it first came out, you know, 15 years ago, and like nobody cared about it. And so the medium doesn't really matter. It's all about the creative. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's the marketing dollars that determine where we're going to put our efforts. If nobody wants to pay us to do these really cool product videos anymore, we're going to have to figure out what do they want to pay us for.
Yeah.
Phil says holodeck advertising.
Let me ask you this. So when did you start ABC?
It'll be 9 years ago in March. 9-year anniversary.
So did you, this is probably completely off topic. It's just been something that's been in my head.
Yeah, please.
So there was a big downturn in the economy a few years ago or something. I don't know if you were running ABC at that time.
I started it in the middle of
it. So how, I don't know. I'm just curious how a video company plans for that or something, you know?
Yeah. You mean like?
Because I feel one coming. It's just me.
I do too.
You know, I feel one coming.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you guys pay attention to Gary Vee at all, like he constantly says, if you're an entrepreneur and you can't make money right now, you suck. Like this is the easiest time to make money is right this second when things are ballooned, things are going well.
Yeah.
But you know, that being said, we're in a perfect spot, and so are you, and so are freelancers, because we know how to do business and we know how to do this stuff cheap if we needed to. You know, it's the massive studios that have been fat, the ones that have, you know, you look at their websites and they literally have 22 people on staff, and if you look at the job titles, it's executive this, executive that, vice president this, vice president that, project manager here, you know, assistants, you know, art directors, creative directors, and typically those aren't even billable hours. And then you get down and you see that there's 4 people on staff of a staff of 22 that you could actually do billable work for. The rest are overseers. You know what I mean?
Those people are going to be the first to crash and burn in a new crash.
Yeah, and it has happened. They're the ones that are, you know, screaming and crying doomsday on the motion graphics industry. And I don't say that out of arrogance, because at any given moment, ABC could be in hard times, and we're cutting back too. So it definitely happens, but you also have to kind of ask yourself and wonder, you know, was it smart to have, you know, 16 people on staff that you can't do billable work for? And 4 or 5 that were technically the billable work. So that being said, you know, ABC is basically all artists that are all billable hours. And so we're able to expand and contract through myself and Aaron. So before we have to outsource something, we have the ability to have a portion of Aaron's time and a portion of my time, like in the pipeline, getting our hands dirty before we have to think about, you know, freelancing things out. And so we are kind of doing things on a dime. We're here in Texas, you know, we were able to purchase a building. You can't do that in LA or New York. You can't go buy a building.
You just have to be really rich.
You're not doing motion graphics then.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think, you know, we're trying to do it as smart as possible, but we're trying to charge as much, if not more, than anybody in LA or New York charges. And it's not my fault if their overhead is skyrocketed.
Yeah. And there's always going to be a need for it. I mean, there's the rumors of another housing crash. There's the national debt at an all-time high. But even during the crash in 08, 09, there were still television commercials. There was still media. There were still movies. And that's something that's at least a little bit comforting. So there may be a hit, but not in the way some other industries are affected.
I've been told that, like, I don't know, downturns in economy are the best time for people to do television ads and stuff like that, because they're just trying to, you know, they're trying to create awareness and stuff like that.
Well, it's all social media. I mean, you see the type of work that we're doing. Some of it is for broadcast, like the Curry stuff was for broadcast. But for the most part, people are allocating the dollars to social media spends. Everything from YouTube pre-rolls to, you know, promoted posts, promoted stories on Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. And, you know, those are not mediums to just be like, oh, it's just something, you know, something for social media. It's like, no, that's where people are. More people will see this on Instagram than will on TV.
Not to mention you can track how many people see it, where you don't really have that on television.
Totally, yeah. So I mean, we've seen it for years. Like all of these Star Wars spots that we did for Nixon Watches, those are all social media based. You know, maybe website or PR placements on other websites and things like that. But the dollars are being spent for social media. It's not kind of like the stepchild anymore. It's like the main thing. The one concern that I do have about that is I'm seeing some brands that are wanting to just crank out crap just so that they have social media stuff. So, you know, we've had people hit us up and are like, hey, we need like 20 social media posts. And they want literally 20 social media posts that are CG. And it would be, you know, just little crappy animations, like make our product spin 360 and bounce in a fun way, and you know, it only has to be 10 seconds long, but we need 20 of them. So I think there's going to be a lot of that out there, and I think there's going to be plenty of people that will take that on. You know, for us, if we can, we would prefer to do a little more storytelling and really challenge ourselves, not only from a writing perspective, but from a production perspective. You know, every time we approach these things, obviously we're approaching it with the client in mind and the client's needs. But to be honest, there's a big part of it that's like, okay, what do we need in our portfolio that we can suggest for this? You know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what do you think about those Instagram stars and everything right now, and the Instagram renders and all of that going on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always quality over quantity. I've never understood wanting to do one style over and over and filling your Instagram feed with one style, because
Right.
you're limiting yourself to only getting hired for that one style. And I just don't think we're in a day and age that you can have a one style that you're known for, because everybody is required to be so diverse in everything that you do as a commercial artist. Like, there are no one trick ponies anymore. Like, you got to be able to do everything from, hey, we need this gritty like 2D animation for Vans, but we need this really slick Nike weaving animation to happen.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I'm not a fan of trying to do dailies, but I do understand that some people need that in order to just help themselves get faster.
Yeah.
And so I could see situations where it like forces somebody to get good and get fast, and things like that. It's tough though, because in the hiring process and trying to find good people, I'll come across, you know, Instagram feeds that are absolutely gorgeous. Like, the work is fantastic. Their renders are absolutely gorgeous. And then when we like hire them to see if it's you know, either a freelance situation or a potential full-time job, it becomes a little bit shocking of like, oh man, I totally got tricked by the fact that you used Kit Bash and a bunch of fog.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm coming from the print and design world originally. And so when I'm pushing myself creatively, it's to create some of these gorgeous 3D scenes and renders that I see. And I kind of just assume that when I see somebody doing them, that means they know how to design.
Yeah.
Because I come from the design, and yet I'm pushing myself to be good at like the 3D scenes and the 3D renders and the lighting and all of that stuff. And so definitely felt like, wow, like that person's only good at what's in their feed. Like, they're not necessarily a good fit for commercial artists, because when it came to doing a project for an actual product, it seemed like they couldn't translate their eye for texture or for lighting or composition into an actual video or project, you know, that was on a clock and had to be done quickly and had to be solutions based, and not just, well, this is my one style that I do, and I'm super good at this one style. But yeah, it's interesting. I've spent a lot of money trying to hire some Instagram stars, and then just being kind of surprised at the lack of diversity beyond that.
And not only that, but it's the whole work style as well, and how they go about following instructions and using their time efficiently and all of that stuff too. How do you measure that? Do you try people out? Do you give them sample projects?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've wasted a lot of money just kind of going through the hiring process, because I don't want to, you know, have a reputation for whatever reason within an industry by asking artists to do some free work in order to land the job.
Right.
So a lot of times before I will offer somebody a full-time job, I'll pay them on a freelance project, and sometimes it's because we need them on that freelance project. But most of the time, it's just because I want to see who they are. Can they produce within a creative pipeline? Do they receive direction well? You know, things like that. And so I'm paying to uncover, you know, that process before I, you know, move somebody across country and then 2 weeks into it, I find out they have a terrible attitude. They push back every time I ask them to do something.
Yeah.
Right.
I would love to just ask them to do it for free in order to get a job offer, but I am not doing that. I am paying them.
Yeah, real dollars, not exposure dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it sucks because it's like I don't necessarily have to have them doing it. We could have done it internally. It's literally just to make sure before I spend the money to move somebody here.
Right. Well,
So what's the next position that you were eyeing Houdini and you picked up a Houdini guy. What's the
Yep.
next one that you're looking at?
I would love to get somebody who is just really good at hand animation, like keyframing.
Okay.
I think we've got it covered as far as being able to simulate things and use Brograph to animate whatever we want. But I would love to have somebody that could, take shoelaces and make them, lace a shoe up and tighten the shoe and do things that can't be simulated as far as that. So I guess like a traditional 3D animator. But then I would also love to have somebody that's really good at look development too, and bringing on somebody that's just really strong with design.
oh, like Raid
Cool.
Zero.
Absolutely.
Get him to move to Texas from London.
Yeah.
I want
I don't know how that would work. His wife's in the military. I don't know.
I want to open it up to some questions though, and so if you've got a question, put it in the chat. But in the meantime, I wanted to hit up some links real quick. And some of these are just kind of random. I know that a lot of our listeners are into drones, and I just wanted to put out there that there are new drone rules coming into effect. So I'll post a link in the show notes to that you are going to have to actually start putting your registration number on the outside of the drone, not just in the inside, which kind of sucks because it makes it look ugly. Also wanted to talk about the Grayscale Gorilla giveaway. What's the giveaway? What are they giving away?
They're giving like $18,000 worth of stuff.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Sure.
They're giving away.
They're giving away over $18,000 in prizes. You can go to grayscalegorilla.com to enter it. I don't know when it's ending, so I would say do it soon. But they've got stuff from Arnold, Cinema 4D, Redshift, Video Copilot, School of Motion, Red Giant, Pixel Plow, Blackmagic Design, Turbo Squid, Stardust, Premium Beat, Arnold, and I think they're giving away a Razor Blade, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I thought there was a
I thought
there was a Razor Blade being given away.
I think so. I'm not sure.
I thought I read that. Also,
Yeah, maybe they're not. I don't know. Oh yeah, Razor Blade 15.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be cool. Ooh, 5 licenses of Arnold. Man, that'd be awesome.
I also
Basically, if you win this, you can start your own studio.
I wanted to mention this as well. This is funny. This is a video that I saw.
Oh
today.
yeah.
This is Aaron Sorensen's video, and it's called Bullied. It's like this, cheesy retro type, VHS filtered.
It's very much. It reminds me of the beginning of the Never-Ending Story.
Oh, in the alleyway, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
just
straight up.
It's just funny because Aaron Sorensen is in it as a bully, which is really funny.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah, he's the bad guy. So I'll put that in the show notes. And also, I was just thinking the other day about how you would go about doing Legos and just taking any geometry and turning it into Lego automatically in Cinema 4D. And I was like, oh, could I build a plugin that could do that? And of course I look and somebody else has already built a plugin that can do that.
Yeah, what's it called?
It is called BrickGen 1.0, so I'll post a link to that as well. And there's also this demo that I came across. I don't know if this is released yet. It's called Easy UV version 1. I'm going to post a link to that in the show notes as well. Some sort of Easy UV tool. And then Cornelius Damrick posted some new renders this week as well. Blitz is what it's called. It's like an old guy inside of a bomb.
Yeah, it's cool.
So you got to check that out as well. So, but that's all. That's
He'd
all
be
I have
great
for
at look
links.
dev, but it might take him a month or two to do it.
What's that?
Cornelius, I said he'd be really good at look
Oh.
dev, but it might take him a month or two to do it.
Yeah, man, he's so detailed on all
Yeah.
that. Yeah. We do have a question. What do you guys think about learning Houdini just for modeling? I think I know the
Don't
answer
do
to
it.
that, but
Don't do it.
Yeah.
At least for the things that I've seen, modeling in Houdini is very hard. I'd say stick to a program that you're really strong in, and just bring it in as an OBJ or an FBX or something.
Barton, is
But
anybody
that's just me.
anybody working for you actually model anything in there? Or is it all cinema and ZBrush and stuff?
Oh yeah, not Houdini. We're not modeling with Houdini at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
just Cinema or ZBrush. I've heard, but I don't use Maya. But I've heard Maya is actually way better for modeling than even Cinema. But I don't know from experience.
I enjoyed it when I was modeling it in Maya,
Yeah.
but it was a long time ago. So
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, let's move on to some Beeple's people.
sounded so excited about that.
All right, everybody, pull out your Beeple viewer of choice. For me, this is Twitter, and I'm going to go to the Beeple account, and I'm going to scroll down to February 13th, year of our Lord 2019, and this one is called Wrong Turn. You're following along at home. And,
there we go. That's hilarious. I haven't seen this one.
He really smurfed this one. What did you smurf that with?
Red Smurf.
Red Smurf? Blue Smurf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. What's
So-
interesting about it is that the little Beeple's people are the size that could fit in the mushrooms, and the Smurf is gigantic.
Right.
Yeah.
It's opposite world. Now, my question is this in the regular Beeple verse, or is this an offshoot?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is one of the dimensions or worlds that the people get sent to.
Because there's a lot of stuff where there's like wreckage or leftover things from theme parks. So it's
Yeah.
like this could be a statue. You don't know if this is a statue or if this is a moving.
Where
thing.
in the world did he get the Smurf
I know.
model? That's what I want to know.
And yeah, is this like a leftover from some sort of weird Smurf Adventureland, or
That's
is this
funny.
real? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where he gets that stuff. The trees. I'm interested in the trees because they're really cool looking. I'm wondering if these are some sort of. I don't know if they're like forester. I mean, look at the vines and all of that.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Could be
But,
Forrester.
Yeah. Super pretty. And then the next one is going to be February 16th. This is called I.O.
Yeah.
In, out. Oh man, this is great. And where did this...
That's sign language for something?
For something.
Okay.
I don't know. It's got some cool rock formations and stuff. I like the rock formations built into the stairs and everything. This feels really organic.
Yeah.
The way it was built, and I wonder how he went about doing that. You know, if he's because I mean, there are no straight edges, and everything's got a curve to it, and really rough, and there's some damage. And
I would imagine it's just simple geometry with real displacement textures on it.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
That's really great. I wonder how he built them into the rock, though. If he did any sort of
Like a
volume
volume
builder,
or
yeah,
something. Yeah, that very well could be.
yeah, and the hands too. I wonder where he, how he went about designing the hands.
Oh,
You know?
people.
People, you so silly. And then the one from yesterday, which was February 17th. This is called Reverse Progress. He's been doing a lot of
pretty
these.
Sure, Yeah, these are. I'm pretty sure these are Arnold tune shaders.
Oh, you think so?
I'm pretty sure they are.
Okay.
I think I saw him and Chad talking about it on Twitter.
Was Chad
But that's
doing
pretty
so?
rad.
Hmm.
Yeah, Chad had messed around with some of the tune shaders and stuff. It looks
Yeah.
pretty. I
Yeah,
like
that's
the
awesome.
Arnold tune shading stuff.
You think Beeble did that in Arnold?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think he was trying out the tune shading stuff. It's pretty neat.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much more to say about that.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very pretty.
I love
He's
Beeble.
done a couple of those. Go back to his feed. If
Oh
you
yeah,
can.
he has.
Like,
He did this one. This was good too. This is Tomahawk 360
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
good.
because it's kind of a mixture. You've got the tune shading, you've got some obvious Photoshop work, and it's kind of dissolving. And he's doing like this double layer on top of it.
Yeah, I like it.
Really cool. That's really cool. I like the direction he's going with some of these.
Yeah.
And that paper texture too is pretty cool. I think I
Yeah.
recognize that paper texture though.
Textures.com, I think.
Textures.com.
Yeah, yeah.
CG
Yeah.
text. Well, yeah, textures.com now, yeah. I've had to use that paper many a time. So, yeah. Well, Barton, we are out of topics unless you have anything else you want to talk about today.
I think, I don't know, nothing offhand.
You're like, I'm good. I'm good. Let's get out of here.
So where are we gonna see you at meetup wise here? So we could catch some of your presentations or talk to you. You're going to NAB. You're going to
You'll be at NAB,
LA
yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
If
I'll
you're
be
in
in Africa,
right.
join me in Nairobi.
Which some of the people in the chat were. So I don't know
Yeah.
how far that is from where they're
March 26th through, or 16th through 26th is when I'll be in Nairobi.
at. Yeah,
Cool.
it's a big continent. So
Yeah. Yeah.
And through the 26th, and then you're immediately coming back and going to NAB for a couple days.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
To inhale some smoke and get some
Right?
sand in my eyes.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get your yearly addiction to nicotine in.
Yeah. You accidentally get addicted to smoking without even
Yeah. I'm assuming that that meetup will be happening again at NAB in that bar.
I would
believe
assume.
so.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people have been saying it's happening. There's just not any official
Yeah.
stuff for it.
Okay.
yet.
So
Cool.
we can jump on them tickets. They're going to go quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, everybody remember next week Ryan Summers is going to be on. So if you have any questions for him, make sure you email us and let us know ahead of time. We'll try and get those lined up. You can rate us on iTunes or leave a review. It helps get our ratings up. You can also subscribe as well on your podcatcher of choice and subscribe to our newsletter, which never goes out. But, hey, it's there. You can
Yeah,
say
we've done
you-
it like twice ever.
Yeah. You can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the No Brograph, No Mograph tee, the limited edition Gaten DeSimone t-shirt, the Feel the Bad 2020 shirt, which is needed now more than ever. And we
needed
also donate the profits from that to Doctors Without Borders. And then, of course, the Render Things shirt and hoodie, tee and hoodie. And that's about it. Again, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Brograph.com, and Twitch, and all the stuff and things. And that about wraps it up.
Let's do it. Let's go eat some lunch.
If you want
Cool.
to find Barton, if they want to find you online, they just search for Already Been Chewed, right?
Yeah, it's at Already Been Chewed is the Instagram feed, at Barton Damer, BartonDamer, is my Instagram account.
All right, and alreadybeenchewed.tv has some really pretty stuff. We'll be posting all the links to what we've been talking about in the show notes for the episode. So we're going to
Cool,
get out
thanks
of
for
here.
having me on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Until next week,
Always a pleasure.
I'm
Awesome.
Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Have a good one.
Little bros.
Later.
All right. We're still
recording.
live.
She loved my kid walking in.
It's funny.
It's like that CNN video.
Yeah.
Walking along. 172.
172, 122 and an eighth.
Oh, all right. Cool. I'm saving that. Barton, thanks, man.
Yeah.